Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Downer, and we are having the Iowa Conversation. I am here with Ryan Frederick-Gill, funeral director and owner of Celebrate Life Iowa. How are we doing today, Ryan?
Good, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing great. So today we're going to be talking about what the difference is between cremation and traditional burial. So our big thing that we're going to ask today is how do cremation and burial differ in cost, timeline, environmental impact, and emotional meaning for families. So, how does a cremation ta- uh, how does cremation take place compared to a traditional burial timeline?
And again, Mike, there's a lot of different answers here, but we're going to sure do our best to cover them all.
You bet.
Here within Iowa or even nationwide anymore, when you hear the word traditional, I kind of chuckle a little bit because I don't think there's such a thing as a traditional funeral anymore. But what that used to mean is more people had a full funeral, and that was kind of the traditional way to celebrate a person's life.
You bet.
Here today in 2026 in Des Moines, Iowa, or even in Iowa in general, cremation rates have surpassed burial rates by about 15%. We're looking at about 65% cremation here in Iowa. Celebrate Life Iowa in West Des Moines and in North Liberty is proud to offer the most affordable cremation in the state. We serve all 99 counties when it comes to Iowa cremation. That being said, there's a huge difference in cost between a simple direct cremation and also what you would consider a traditional funeral. Traditional funeral in Des Moines, you're probably looking right about $13,000. Sometimes when you get out of Des Moines, cemeteries are a little bit less, but the funeral homes costs are a little bit more as well, just because they don't serve the volume of numbers. So they do have to be a little bit higher priced. When you then take that in comparison to the average Iowa cremation price is sitting right about $3,800 for a direct cremation with no services. At Celebrate Life Iowa, we're going to be about a third of that cost. We're right at $1,295 in Des Moines. We would be all the way up to $1,895 to go to the four corners of the state. And the reason that we charge a little bit more for those direct cremations is just that travel time. We have one crematory. We cover the entire state of Iowa when it comes to cremation. So your loved one never has to leave our care once you have selected Celebrate Life Iowa for your cremation needs.
You bet. As far as the timeline goes, how long does cremation take compared to the traditional burial timeline?
So it really does just depend on how fast or streamlined the family is in a need of. I would say in most instances, an individual in our care with cremation is going to be about day 3. We would handle the cremation. The actual cremation time is about a 4-hour process. So could be picked up as soon as 3 days later if you choose a direct cremation or simple cremation with Celebrate Life Iowa. Or we have had families where we literally bury at the cemetery the next day, which again can be allowed with embalming or without embalming. You are seeing some more eco-friendly funeral services coming along where embalming is not required. We can bury in a wicker casket. We can go ahead and bury in a less expensive casket. The cemetery, most instances, is still going to require that casket go into a vault or a concrete liner. And what that does is it supports the weight of the ground when they do drive heavy equipment over it. But you are going to see some more green burials pop up throughout Iowa, green cemeteries, because people are interested in having a less environmental impact on the environment when it comes to funeral or cremation options.
You bet. Let's get kind of into the next question. So, what are the environmental impacts of cremation versus the traditional burial?
Yeah, traditional burial, you're still going to have to buy a plot or some ground. A lot of people think we're running out of cemetery plots. Here in Iowa, we don't see it so much. Your big cities like Dallas, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, they are going to be running out of that ground space. Here in Iowa, we still have plenty available. But from there are the impact where if you're not in a sealing vault, that embalming fluid could potentially seek into the ground around a cemetery. We haven't found too many studies crossed that where there's a huge impact, but it is still possible. When it comes to cremation, the smokestack of a crematory does put off some carbon footprint. There's a couple other options that some other states are offering when it comes to water cremation, or now you're hearing of human composting. In Iowa, it is not legal to offer either of those options to families at this point.
Is that something that you see in the future that you will be able to offer?
At the last Iowa Funeral Director Convention, there was talk of nothing of either of those options being anywhere near in the future. Minnesota has had aquamation or alkaline hydrolysis, water cremation legal since 1998. There's quite a few other states around us that still have that legal. I don't see it changing anytime soon in Iowa. When it comes to human composting, there's currently 6 states, I believe, that have it legal. Iowa, I do think, will be probably one of the last states to have that one legal as well. But they are coming, and we'll see with what the laws change. Obviously, there's a lot of things to do to change Iowa funeral service laws, and I'm not. I'm not on that board or committee or have those political contacts like maybe I should.
You bet. Well, it's still something. It's good to know about because it's just something that informs people, and maybe if it is something that is good, people can always help out with moving that along or preventing it, whichever is better for our environment and the people of Iowa.
Correct. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this: I know that you deal with many different backgrounds and religions. So how do different religions view cremation and burial practices? What are some of the major things that you see, Ryan?
Yeah. So with the Muslim religion, they're going to do a direct burial, no embalming. So again,
Okay.
they would be against cremation. From there, that is really the only religion that comes to mind off a hand that is going to be against cremation. They're still going to do a direct burial uh, with no embalming, kind of one of those things that you have to do within 3 days. From there, every other religion does open their minds to cremation, and the Catholic Church was probably the last one, and again it's still been decades ago that they approved it. They did release a statement a couple years back that does encourage anybody that's cremated, especially in Iowa or throughout the nation or world, to still bury those cremated remains in a cemetery plot.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I had some time where I worked for a Catholic organization, and yeah, that's falls in line with exactly what they said. So,
And
what are
again,
the
I would strongly encourage that as well. Cremation's a great thing. It's a great option for a lot of families, and that is what more and more Iowans are choosing cremation. However, we're getting those phone calls probably even on a every other month basis now. Somebody left cremated remains in a storage unit, didn't pay their bill. So then they call us because there is an identification number on every bag of cremated remains where it does say who the crematory is. And then everybody does have an identification number that's in our care.
have you ever had to help out with locating some of the family members for left
Absolutely,
behind?
absolutely. We do help out with that because again, we want to get their loved one back to them. It's just a matter of at some point, that is why it is good to have that final resting place in the cemetery with cremated remains, or obviously, if you are going with a casket or even a direct burial.
You bet. So, what are the practical benefits of choosing cremation over burial?
The practical benefit is it's going to save Iowa families money when it comes to funeral service. That's going to probably be the most economical way to bury a loved one. The second thing is the timing. We're seeing families wait weeks and months to have a service, so everybody in their family they know can make the event to celebrate their life of their loved one. And again, I think those are the two most common reasons people choose cremation. I do hear a lot. People tell me I don't want people staring at my dead body or seeing me naked or any of those things too. So I think that is right up there too. But there has definitely been a change over the last 25 years with what Iowans are choosing for burial options. And again, 65% of Iowans now are choosing cremation. And at Celebrate Life Iowa, we're proud to be the affordable cremation option.
So we talked about this in other episodes, but I believe that you'd said that even if you choose cremation, you do still have that option of the viewing for closure, I believe. If you could go through just a couple of the options, even though you choose cremation that seem more like a traditional burial, I'm sure our listeners would love to hear about those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, for private family, as long as the person didn't pass away from a communicable disease, we give a lot of families the opportunity to just have a private family viewing. Again, if they bring us clothes, we dress their loved one. We make them look as good as possible without that embalming procedure, and then give them an hour, maybe two, whatever they desire, to spend a little time and say goodbye to their loved ones. Or if they weren't able to make it to the hospital or to the hospice house, they can still come in for that. Kind of the other option is, if we are opening it up to the public, we would be able to embalm, dress, get hair done, if we need makeup, if we're doing nails, and then go to a full funeral with a rental casket, and then from there follow by cremation. I would like to explain the rental casket just a little bit, because we do get asked that a lot.
Yeah,
So
that'd be great.
yeah, the rental casket is really the shell of the casket. The entire insert of the casket is a box. It's going to have a pillow. It's going to have the throw that goes over the casket. It's going to have the lining kind of around the casket. All of that gets removed and goes to the crematory with their individual that does get cremated after a full funeral. So it is still a very popular option for Iowa families. And again, a good way to serve them if that's what they choose, or if that's the right way to honor their loved one. We're happy to do it.
Oh, I love that, the fact that there's with age comes different viewpoints, and this way for people that are older that view things the way they used to be, you're giving options, and it also helps with affordability. And I just I think that's great that you give every option and can make a family feel comfortable.
We really try to walk them through that process. And again, our question to them is, how can we honor your loved one? And from there, they give us the direction. And our job is to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and everything looks as good as possible and is right where it's supposed to be for them. So it's just helps them through that grief process where it's a lot less for them to worry about. And we're here to walk them through it.
That's great. So we'll kind of wind this one up. Ryan, if you could just tell me and all our listeners and viewers, what are the current trends in Iowa regarding cremation versus traditional burial? Where do you
Yeah,
see the trends going?
the trend has been and continue to be increasing. I would guess 3 to 4% a year, where more families are choosing cremation in Iowa than a burial with a casket and a vault. See, I'm not going to call it traditional anymore because I don't think it is. That certainly is the trend. I think we're going to trend right about 65% in Iowa in 2026 for cremation rate. The experts from the CANA, which is the Association of Cremation across North America, they're seeing or saying most states will hit 85% probably in the next 10 years. So again, are they right? Are they wrong? At this point, I would say it's looking that way for sure.
You bet. And I know you can't predict future trends. If you could, you and me be sitting on Wall Street at the stock market.
That's right.
Maybe on maybe on a beach with nice cold glass of ice water in our hand. But I do appreciate our conversation today. I love the way the fact that you help families feel comfortable and making decisions, and what's going to be most fiscally responsible for their budget. Ryan, it's always good talking to you. I look forward to our next episode. We'll be talking about some processes, so I look forward to that.
Sounds good, Mike. Thank you, and you have a blessed day.
Hey, thanks, you as well.